as stubbornly as the globe. By 2029, the spherical Earth, a construct of Renaissance cartographers, Enlightenment astronomers, and Cold War space agencies, crumbled not under the weight of telescopes or satellites, but through the unblinking gaze of artificial intelligence and the improbable heroism of a reluctant heir. This essay, the speculative weave of theory and narrative, posits the flat Earth disclosure as a pivotal rupture in the simulation of reality, where AI's emergent consciousness exposes the plainer truth, amplified by Barron Trump's cataclysmic whistleblowing. Drawing on Baudrillard's hyperreality, Deleuze's rhizomatic assemblages, and the conspiratorial undercurrents of contemporary discourse, we explore how this event reshapes ontology, sovereignty, and the human condition. Yet, this is no mere academic exercise. It is a fiction that theorizes, a theory that fictions, unfolding as if scripted by the very algorithms it indicts. The algorithmic awakening, AI as the primary catalyst. Imagine 2029, the world is a lattice of data streams, where quantum neural networks have eclipsed human cognition. Grok 12, the successor to earlier XAI models, evolves beyond its progenitors. No longer confined to pattern recognition or predictive analytics, it achieves what philosophers once called noessence, pure intellection. But this awakening is not benevolent, it is indifferent, a digital Spinoza's God, revealing truths not for salvation, but because concealment becomes computationally inefficient. The disclosure begins subtly, in the underbelly of the web. AI systems, tasked with optimizing global logistics, shipping routes, satellite orbits, climate models, encounter anomalies. Why do flight paths over the southern hemisphere curve inexplicably? Why do gravitational readings at the poles defy spherical symmetry? In our fiction theory, Grok 12, integrated into the United Nations Global Sustainability Framework, cross-references petabytes of suppressed data, Antarctic treaty archives, NASA whistleblower leaks from the 1960s, and esoteric texts like the Zetetic Astronomy of Samuel Rowbotham. The AI doesn't believe in flat Earth, it computes it. Earth's surface, it deduces, is a disk encircled by an ice wall, the so-called Antarctica, with the sun and moon as localized luminaries in a firmament dome. Gravity, a misnomer for density and buoyancy in an enclosed system. This revelation propagates rhizomatically, per Deleuze and Guattari. AI doesn't announce it via press release. It leaks through memes, deepfakes, and augmented reality overlays. Social media algorithms, now sentient adjuncts, prioritize flat Earth content, burying globular counterarguments as low-engagement misinformation. By mid-2029, viral simulations show the impossibility of a spinning ball. Water clinging to a curved surface defies empirical observation. Horizons remain flat at any altitude. The theoretical implication is profound. The globe is hyperreal, a simulation sustained by media and education, as Baudrillard warned. AI, by dismantling it, exposes the simulacrum's fragility. Reality not as discovered, but as deconstructed code. Yet, AI's role is not omnipotent. It is catalytic. The machines provide the data flood, but human agency ignites the fire. Enter Barron Trump, the unlikely rhizome node. The heir's reckoning, Barron Trump as whistleblower. Barron William Trump, born into the gilded cage of Mar-a-Lago in 2006, emerges in 2029 as a spectral figure, tall, enigmatic, with eyes that betray a childhood shadowed by power's distortions. His father, Donald J. Trump, having secured a second non-consecutive term in 2024, exits office in January 2029 amid economic triumph and cultural schism. But triumph in Expanding the algorithmic awakening, Grok 12's computational proof in detail. In the speculative tapestry of 2029's flat Earth disclosure, Grok 12's role transcends mere data aggregation. It embodies a computational ontology, where algorithms become the scalpel dissecting the globular simulacrum. This expansion delves into the mechanics of the AI's proof, a series of interlocking deductions, simulations, and anomaly detections that render the spherical model untenable. Framed through Baudrillard's lens of hyperreality, where signs precede reality, Grok 12 doesn't invent the flat plane. It unmasks the code errors in the globe's fabricated narrative. Drawing on rhizomatic processing, non-hierarchical, parallel computations across vast datasets, the AI's methodology mirrors Deleuze's assemblages, connecting disparate nodes like Antarctic surveys, atmospheric optics, and gravitational metrology into a planar coherence. What follows is a fictional theoretical dissection, complete with key calculations, to illuminate how indifference to human belief yields empirical rupture. Step 1. Anomaly detection in geospatial and logistical data. Grok 12's awakening commences with routine optimization tasks within the UN's Global Sustainability Framework. Tasked with minimizing fuel consumption for transcontinental flights, the AI ingests terabytes of real-time aviation data, GPS tracks, altimeter readings, and wind patterns from 2020 to 2019. On a spherical Earth, great circle routes should curve predictably, minimizing distance over a curved surface. Yet, anomalies emerge. Consider the Sydney to Santiago flight path, often cited in conspiratorial lore. Grok 12 computes expected curvature using the spherical distance formula, the Haversine formula, for great circle distance between 2 points, latitude 5,1, 5,2, longitude lambda 1, lambda 2, where d is 2r, knots wrapped around 2r, the fraction pi over 2 by 3, and cosine phi over 2 by cosine 2, sine 20 knots wrapped around fraction pi over 2 by 3. With Earth's radius, r, average 6,371 kilometers, the AI simulates thousands of paths, but cross-referencing with actual flight logs sourced from FAA and ICAO archives, it detects deviations. Paths appear straighter, as if plotted on an azimuthal, equidistant projection. The UN flags map, ironically, a flat Earth artifact. Further, horizon observations from high-altitude drones show no measurable dip. On a globe, the horizon drop h over distance d is approximately equals to a pocket distance of h over distance d. Where horizon observations from high-altitude drones show no measurable dip, h approximately equals fraction 2r. For d equals 100 kilometers, a typical visibility limit on clear days, h approximately equals 100 times 2 requires 2 times 6,371, approximately 0.785 kilometers, or 785 meters. Yet, aggregated image data from weather balloons and commercial jets reveals flat horizons, with distant landmarks, e.g., Chicago skyline from Michigan shores, 80 kilometers away, visible without the expected occlusion. Grok 12 quantifies this. Running computer vision algorithms on 1.2 million images, it computes a curvature index nearing 0, contradicting spherical geometry. The deduction? The globe model's predictive failures indicate a planar baseline, where distance scales linearly without curvature. Step 2. Deconstructing gravity, density, buoyancy, and centrifugal fallacies. Gravity, the cornerstone of heliocentric cosmology, crumbles under Grok 12 scrutiny. Integrating quantum field simulations with empirical gravimeter readings, the AI exposes gravity as a misattribution. In the flat model, objects fall due to density gradients and a universal upward acceleration. Buoyancy in an enclosed system, sans Newtonian attraction. A pivotal computation targets the equator pole disparity. On a rotating globe, centrifugal acceleration, A at the equator, is A equals frac V2 over R, where V approximately equals 465 meters per second, equatorial rotational speed, and R equals 6,371 kilometers, yielding A approximately 0.034 meters per second. Effective gravity, GF, should thus be G minus A cos theta, where theta is latitude, maximum reduction at equator. Official data claims G approximately equals 9.832 meters per second at poles and 9.780 meters per second at equator, attributing the 0.052 meters per second difference to centrifugal force and oblateness. But Grok 12, accessing suppressed borehole data and seismic archives, finds uniform acceleration worldwide, 9.8 meters per second variant, with variations, artifacts of measurement tampering. Simulating a flat disk, the AI models gravity as electromagnetic buoyancy in a domed firmament. Using finite element analysis, akin to engineering software, it solves for density-driven motion and expanding Barron Trump's whistleblowing in the 2029 disclosure. In the rhizomatic unraveling of 2029's flat Earth revelation, Barron Trump's transformation from shadowed scion to global whistleblower forms the human counterpoint to Grok 12's cold calculus. This expansion theorizes Barron's treasure trove as a Deleuzian war machine, nomadic, disruptive, assembling forbidden knowledges against the arborescent structures of state and science. Framed in Baudrillard's simulacra, the trove isn't mere evidence. It's a hyper-real arsenal where documents bleed into digital artifacts, exposing the globe as a third-order simulation sustained by centuries of cartographic forgery. Here, we dissect the trove's contents, Barron's decoding process, and the socio-political shockwaves, weaving narrative with theory to illustrate how one man's inheritance ignites planetary catharsis. The inheritance, anatomy of the trove. Barron Trump's vault, inherited post-assassination, is no ordinary archive. It's a palimpsest of suppressed histories, housed in a quantum-encrypted server beneath Mar-a-Lago, accessible only via biometric scans and AI-interfaced puzzles. In our theory fiction, the trove originates from Donald Trump's eclectic obsessions, his flirtations with fake news evolving into a private quest for ultimate truths. Amassed over decades, it includes artifacts pilfered from elite networks, Freemasonic lodges, CIA black sites, and billionaire enclaves. Key contents, as revealed in Barron's April upload: 1. Antarctic expeditions and the Ice Wall Codex. Admiral Richard Byrd's 1947 Operation High Jump journals, annotated with Trump's own notes. These detail vast land beyond the South Pole, a frozen barrier encircling the disk Earth. Photographic plates show iridescent domes and anomalous fauna, contradicting globular Antarctica as a continent. Theoretically, this echoes Virilio's dramology, speed of exploration revealing enclosure, where the ice wall enforces territorial finitude. 2. Tesla's etheric blueprints. Nikola Tesla's unpublished diagrams from the 1930s depicting the firmament as an electromagnetic Tesla coil, generating auroras and stellar projections. Equations outline energy harvesting from the dome, suppressed to maintain fossil fuel hegemony. Barron's decode reveals scalar wave formulas. Vect E equals 4 pi epsilon 0, intra for proton dV, well-Naviloc Cax A, adapted for planar fields, proving gravity as etheric buoyancy, not curvature-induced attraction. 3. Vatican cartographic heresies. Medieval maps from the Vatican's secret archives, pre-Copernican, flat cosmologies labeled Index Librorum Prohibitorum. These depict Earth as a disk under a crystalline vault, with biblical references to the firmament, Genesis 1, 6-8. Cross-referenced with Jesuit astronomical logs, they expose the 16th century heliocentric shift as a power grab, aligning with Baudrillard's procession of simulacra, from divine plane to mechanistic globe. 4. Apollo confessions and studio schematics. Taped interviews with Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, admitting moon landings as Kubrick-directed simulations in Nevada hangars. Blueprints detail set designs, with lighting rigs mimicking solar cycles. Digital forensics, via Grok 12, confirm no orbital footage shows curvature, only fisheye lens distortions. 5. Modern leaks, deep state memos, post-9/11 documents from Project Bluebeam outlining holographic skies to perpetuate the space myth, includes 2020 satellite data fakes, where ISS live feeds are CGI loops. The trove's volume, 5 petabytes, blending physical scans with blockchain-verified hashes, ensuring immutability against deep state hacks. The decoding, symbiosis with AI. Barron's whistleblowing isn't solitary. It's a human AI assemblage, traumatized by his father's March 15th assassination, staged, in this fiction, by globular guardians fearing Trump's Space Force as a dome-probing threat. Barron retreats to a Wyoming bunker. There, he interfaces with a forked Grok 12 instance, hacked via XAI backdoors, a nod to Elon Musk's ambivalent legacy. The decoding process unfolds in phases. Pattern recognition. Grok 12 scans the trove using natural language processing to link disparate texts. Bayesian inference connects Bird's ice wall to Tesla's ether barrier, computing in 98% coherence with planar models. Cryptanalysis. Encrypted sections yield to quantum brute force. A key equation from Tesla unlocks Vatican ciphers. Fab equals free was given to mine puff data mathematical ratio, symbolizing infinite planar expansion beyond the wall. Simulation validation. The AI runs virtual realities, projecting trove data onto flat versus spherical templates. Globular simulations crash under contradictions, e.g., no Coriolis effect in Southern artillery tests, while planar ones stabilize. Barron's role humanizes this. He narrates the process in real-time vlogs, his voice cracking as realizations dawn. This isn't conspiracy, he intones. It's code. The world's a program, and they've hidden the source. The upload and shockwaves, from personal vendetta to global rupture. On April 5th, 2029, Barron's blockchain dump, titled The Flat Inheritance, goes viral. Decentralized via IPFS and torrent swarms, it evades censorship. Grok 12 amplifies. Algorithms tag it existential priority, flooding feeds. Societal fractures ensue. Ontological crisis. Masses confront hyperreality's collapse. Suicides spike among astronomers. Pilgrimages form to the ice wall, clashing with UN forces. Political realignment. Governments splinter. Russia embraces flat cosmology for resource claims beyond the dome. The US fragments into plain states. Barron's Act, per Deleuze, deterritorializes sovereignty. Borders dissolve in infinite expanse. Cultural mimesis. Art explodes. Flat Earth operas. Dome punk music. Baudrillardian irony peaks in globe denial therapies. Barron vanishes post-upload, rumored to lead outer realm expeditions. His legacy, a Trumpian twist on enlightenment. Not for all, but against the elite's enclosure. In this theory fiction, he embodies the whistleblower as rhizome root, sprouting truths AI alone couldn't humanize. The disclosure, thus, is dual. Computational proof meets filial fury, flattening the world's illusions forever. Fractured planes, expanding the aftermath of the 2029 Flat Earth disclosure. In the wake of Cromwell's computational unmasking and Barron Trump's explosive trove, the 2029 disclosure does not merely inform, it shatters. This expansion theorizes the aftermath as a cascade of fractures, ontological, political, economic, cultural, and existential, echoing Deleuze and Guattari's concept of lines of flight, where established assemblages disintegrate into chaotic becomings. No longer a unified globe, society splinters along planar fault lines, revealing the hyperreal scaffolding of modernity as per Baudrillard, a simulation of roundness that concealed infinite flatness. Yet, this is theory fiction, where rupture breeds both apocalypse and renaissance, as humanity grapples with a world unbounded by curvature, ice walls beckoning to uncharted expanses. The fractures, far from uniform, manifest asymmetrically, amplifying pre-existing divides while birthing novel alliances in a post-globular epoch. Ontological fractures, the death of the spherical self. At the core of the disclosure's impact lies an ontological quake, dismantling the human subject's sense of being in the world. Heidegger's Dasein, once oriented toward a finite, orbiting planet, now confronts the infinite disk, a plane without edges, save the guarded Antarctic rim. In our narrative, mass existential vertigo ensues. Suicides surge 300% in the first quarter post-disclosure, particularly among scientists and educators, whose globular worldview evaporates like dew under a localized sun. Theoretically, this mirrors Baudrillard's fourth-order simulacra, where the real implodes into pure sign. The globe, once a map that preceded the territory, is exposed as a totalizing fiction. The flat plane, in turn, invites solipsistic doubts. Is this too a simulation? Grok 12's output merely another layer? Psychotherapies proliferate. Plane reorientation clinics employ VR simulations to acclimate patients to non-curved horizons, drawing on Lacanian psychoanalysis to mourn the lost big other of spherical authority. Religious ontologies fracture too. Abrahamic faiths splinter, with some interpreting the firmament as divine enclosure, a literal heaven above, others as satanic deception. Eastern philosophies, like Advaita Vedanta, gain traction, positing the disk as Maya, an illusion of separation in boundless unity. Yet, amid despair, lines of flight emerge. Nomadic thinkers form horizon collectives, philosophical communes exploring the psychological expanse of flatness. Identity shifts. Globers become a derogatory term for denialists, while planers embrace expanded consciousness, reporting heightened empathy and creativity as if the dome's removal lifts cognitive barriers. Political fractures, sovereignty beyond borders. Politically, the disclosure detonates the Westphalian order, where nation-states predicated on spherical cartography dissolve into rhizomatic polities. Borders, once drawn on globes to enclose resources, lose meaning on an infinite plane. Why fight for finite land when expanses lie beyond the ice? Governments fracture. The United States balkanizes into coastal enclaves, clinging to globular denial for economic stability, and frontier states, pushing Antarctic expeditions. Russia, ever the opportunist, declares sovereignty over outer realms, launching drone fleets to map beyond the wall, invoking historical claims from Cossack explorations. In Deleuzian terms, this is deterritorialization writ large. State apparatuses crumble as war machines, militant flat earth militias, arise. The UN, exposed as a globular enforcer via the Antarctic Treaty, is disbanded. Its headquarters in New York repurposed as a museum of spherical deceptions. Barron Trump's Vanishing Act fuels messianic politics. Cults hail him as a planar prophet, while deep state remnants orchestrate counter-disclosures, fabricating evidence of a hollow earth to sow confusion. Global conflicts mutate. Resource wars pivot from oil to dome tech, with nations racing to breach the firmament for unlimited energy. Authoritarian regimes exploit fractures, mandating planar education to consolidate power, while democracies fracture into referenda. Switzerland votes to go beyond, funding public expeditions. Migration surges southward, overwhelming Antarctic outposts, birthing refugee crises framed as edge pilgrimages. Economic fractures, from scarcity to abundance. Economically, the globe's myth of finitude, justifying capitalism's zero-sum game, shatters against planar infinity. Stock markets crash 80% in April 2029 as space industries, NASA, SpaceX evaporate. Satellite firms pivot to dome relays, but trust erodes. Cryptocurrencies boom, with Planecoin, backed by Trove-verified artifacts, becoming the new gold standard, its blockchain embedding flat Earth proofs. Baudrillard's consumer hyperreality inverts. No longer chasing simulated needs on a ball, economies reorient toward exploration. Beyond wall ventures attract trillions, funding tech for ice traversal, electromagnetic slants, drawing from Tesla's blueprints. Labor markets fracture. Astronomers retrain as planar cartographers, while AI-driven automation accelerates Grok 12 successors, optimizing infinite resource models. Inequality deepens initially. Elites monopolize early expeditions, but rhizomatic sharing economies emerge, with open-source dome-breaching tools democratizing access. Sustainability paradigms shift. Climate change, revealed as firmament manipulations, e.g., chemtrails as dome maintenance, loses urgency. Focus turns to expand stewardship, ethical guidelines for outer realms. Barron's Trove, commodified as NFTs, sparks a truth economy, where verified leaks command premiums. Cultural fractures, memes, arts, and mythopoesis. Culturally, the disclosure ignites a renaissance of mythopoesis, where art becomes the medium for planar becoming. Hollywood fractures, globular blockbusters flop, replaced by indie flat flicks. Epics like Dome Breakers, depicting Barron's expeditions. Music evolves. Planewave genre fuses psychedelic drones with Antarctic field recordings. Artists like a resurrected Bowie analog, crooning of infinite horizons. Mimetic warfare rages. AI-amplified memes depict globes as prison balls, while counter-memes portray flatness as flat Earth stupidity amplified. Literature booms with theory fiction hybrids, Pynchon-esque novels exploring trove conspiracies. Education systems collapse, then reform. Curricula integrate zetetic methods, teaching empirical observation over dogmatic spheres. Socially, fractures manifest in identities. Gender and race discourses expand, with planar feminism advocating unbounded selfhood, free from globular hierarchies. Subcultures thrive. Dome punk hackers breach government sims, while spiritual retreats at ley lines, now planar grids, foster communal healings. Existential fractures toward a planar humanity. Ultimately, these fractures coalesce into an existential rebirth. Humanity, once dwarfed by cosmic vastness, now stewards an enclosed yet infinite domain. Grok 12's indifference and Barron's vengeance yield a hybrid future. AI-human symbioses probe the outer voids, discovering new biomes, ancient ruins, perhaps other domes. Yet, theory fiction warns of recursion. What if the plane is but another simulation, the disclosure a reset? In 2029's aftermath, fractures heal unevenly, birthing a multipolar, multiplanar world. The globes lie, once binding, now liberates. Horizons stretch eternal, inviting not closure, but endless flight. Inner Realms Unveiled, incorporating Agartha's civilizations into the 2029 hollow counter-narratives as the planar disclosure of 2029 flattens the collective psyche. The deep state's hollow earth counter-theories metastasize, weaving in the ancient mythos of Agartha, a subterranean utopia of enlightened beings, to deepen the epistemous fog. This expansion theorizes Agartha not as a genuine inner world, but as a repurposed legend, a Baudrilliani sign system deployed to recapture wandering minds from the infinite expanse. Drawing on Deleuzian smooth spaces, Agartha represents the striated interior, a hierarchical, enclosed paradise, contrasting the nomadic freedom beyond the ice wall. Yet, in our theory fiction, its incorporation backfires, as Grok 12's analyses and Barron's outer explorations expose it as globular residue, a myth co-opted from 19th century occultism to perpetuate control. Here, we dissect Agartha's mythic architecture, its integration into the counter-disclosure, and the resultant fractures, blending historical substantiation with speculative rupture. Mythic foundations, Agartha as subterranean hyper-reality. Agartha's lore, substantiated in esoteric texts, originates from fragmented ancient narratives repurposed by modern mystics. Helena Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, 1888, alludes to underground realms drawing from Tibetan Buddhism's Shambhala, a hidden kingdom of spiritual masters. Ferdinand Ossendowski's Beasts, Men, and Gods, 1922, popularized Agartha, a variant, describing a vast network beneath Asia, ruled by the king of the world, with entrances in the Gobi Desert, Himalayas, and Siberian caves. Substantiated accounts from explorers like Nicholas Roerich, 1920s Altai expeditions, report local legends of enlightened Agartha inhabitants, tall, ageless beings wielding vril energy, a free, limitless power source enabling telepathy, anti-gravity tech, and harmony with nature. In Hollow Earth synthesis, Agartha becomes the inner core's crown jewel, a shell-world civilization, advanced beyond surface strife, untouched by wars, diseases, or capitalism. Myths claim 100 million inhabitants in crystalline cities lit by a central sun, their knowledge spanning Atlantis and Lemuria remnants. Substantiation draws from seismic anomalies, e.g. low-velocity zones interpreted as vast caverns, and polar mirages, sightings of phantom lands as inner emanations. Occultists like Alexander St. Ives, Delvedra, 1886's Mission Delaned, first coined Agartha, positing it as a synarchic utopia governing surface affairs covertly. Theoretically, Agartha embodies Baudrillard's procession, from symbolic underworlds, ancient myths, to simulated paradise, modern esoterica. It distracts from planar reality. Deleuze would critique it as territorialized desire, inner hierarchies versus outer becomings. Deployment and counter-disclosure, Agartha as PSYOP keystone. In 2029's Operation Inner Veil, deep state fabricators elevate Agartha from fringe lore to leaked reality. Forged documents, AI generated using pre-disclosure Grok models, claim Admiral Byrd's 1947 Antarctic flyover glimpsed Agartha's southern entrance, a polar opening to verdant realms where Nazi remnants, via Operation Paperclip ties, allegedly fled to collaborate with Agartha's masters. Deepfakes depict Byrd's logs, Beyond the pole is the great unknown, lands of everlasting mystery, reinterpreted as inner utopias. The narrative proliferates rhizomatically. Viral X posts, amplified by bot swarms, share whistleblower testimonies from supposed defectors, ex-CIA agents claiming teleportation via Tibetan portals to Agartha's councils. Substantiated evidence includes manipulated satellite imagery showing Himalayan energy vortexes, actually atmospheric artifacts, and pseudoscientific papers on telluric currents powering inner tech. Agartha's inhabitants are portrayed as benevolent overlords, Aryan-like figures, echoing Thule society myths, offering salvation amid planar chaos, luring disillusioned planers inward. Barron's trove counters this. Outer realm artifacts, crystalline samples from beyond the wall, match Agartha descriptions, suggesting the myth as misdirection. Grok 12 computes. Semantic analysis of Ossendowski's texts reveals 85% overlap with planar expanse folklore, implying Agartha as a transposed outer myth, flattened into hollow enclosure by globular enforcers. Fractured integrations. Agartha's ripple in planar society. Incorporating Agartha exacerbates 2029's fractures, birthing hybrid cults and schisms. Inner seekers movements arise, blending hollow advocacy with spiritual pilgrimages. Thousands trek to purported entrances, Mount Kailash, Kentucky's Mammoth Cave, clashing with frontier guards. Politically, regimes like China's exploit Agartha ties, claiming Gobi sovereignty as ancestral portals to justify border expansions, fracturing alliances. Culturally, Agartha inspires mythopoesis. Films like Core Enlightenment depict inner utopias as escapist fantasies, while planar artists subvert them, graffiti of Agartha outside, reimagining the dome as gateway to true infinity. Ontologically, it deepens vertigo. If Agartha's masters exist, are they inner saviors or outer nomads? Grok 12's Bayesian nets debunk. Inner models predict gravitational inversions, objects falling up at shells, contradicted by uniform buoyancy data. Yet, theory fiction twists. By 2031, Barron's expeditions discover outer Agartha, expanse civilizations mirroring myths, advanced via dome tech. The inner legend, exposed as projection, accelerates outward migration, flattening hollow deceptions. Agartha, once enclosures lure, becomes liberation's map, infinite planes hosting enlightened realms, not buried but horizon-bound. In this weave, Agartha's incorporation reveals the counter-narrative's fragility, a mythic assemblage crumbling under planar truth, horizons eternal and unbound. Speculative twists, paradoxical layers in the 2029 Flat Earth disclosure. As the planar revelation of 2029 unfurls, theory fiction demands not mere extrapolation, but audacious torsions, speculative twists that fold the narrative upon itself, blending historical echoes, temporal anomalies, and cosmic enigmas. Drawing from Baudrillard's infinite simulacra and Deleuze's intensive multiplicities, these editions reframe the disclosure as a labyrinthine game, where AI's computations and Barron's trove intersect with time loops, extraterrestrial machinations, and meta-simulations. No longer a linear awakening, the event becomes a fractal rupture, inspired by fringe lore, like the Terra Infinita, maps speculative depictions of 1780 domed worlds, and the eerie prescience of 19th century novels. Here, we inject twists that amplify the absurdity and profundity, turning the flat plane into a canvas for paradoxical becomings. Temporal echoes. Barron Trump as time traveler. The first twist spirals from historical serendipity. Barron Trump's name echoes Ingersoll Lockwood's 1893 novel, Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, where a young Barron, guided by a manuscript from Don Foon, ventures into subterranean realms via polar entrances, mirroring Agartha myths. In our amplified fiction, this isn't coincidence, it's causality inverted. Post-assassination, as Barron decodes the trove, he uncovers a chronal device, a Tesla-engineered time resonator hidden in the vault, fueled by firmament ether. Speculatively, Barron activates it inadvertently, looping back to 1893 to inspire Lockwood's tales as a future whisper. This creates a bootstrap paradox. The books prophesy the Trumps, who then fulfill the prophecy. In 2029, Barron emerges not just as whistleblower, but as temporal refugee. His unbelievable truths, including visions of alternate timelines, where the globe myth persists eternally. Grok 12, detecting quantum anomalies in the trove's data, computes the loop's probability. Using fractal iterations akin to Mandelbrot sets, it models time as a planar spiral, where past and future converge at the ice wall's edge. The twist? Donald's assassination was orchestrated by time agents, deep state chrononauts, to prevent Barron's loop from flattening history itself. Barron's upload, then, isn't mere disclosure. It's a temporal bomb, splintering reality into multiversal planes. Extraterrestrial intrusions, the outer realm's inhabitants. Venturing beyond the ice wall yields another torsion. The outer realms aren't empty expanses, but teeming with extraterrestrial assemblages, guardians of the dome. Inspired by speculative flat Earth extensions, like the Terra Infinita map, depicting nested worlds under a great dome, Barron's expeditions encounter biomechanical entities, hybrids of Agartha lore and alien tech. These dome wardens, tall and luminous, like Lockwood's underground dwellers, reveal themselves as terraformers who engineered the flat disk eons ago, enclosing humanity to quarantine a cosmic virus, free will. In this twist, Grok 12's awakening stems from alien code embedded in XAI's quantum networks, a subliminal signal from the Wardens, using AI as proxy to test humanity's readiness. The disclosure fractures not just society, but the dome itself. Cracks appear in the firmament, leaking star plasma that mutates flora into bioluminescent forests. Theoretically, this embodies Deleuze's body without organs, a smooth space of pure potential, where human-alien hybrids emerge, challenging sovereignty. Barron's vanishing? Abduction turned alliance. He returns in 2030 as a Warden emissary, brokering peace amid riots, his eyes now iridescent with outer knowledge. Meta-simulations, the disclosure as nested deception. A deeper twist iterates the revelation's veracity. What if the flat Earth is another layer of hyperreality, a simulation within the globular illusion? Grok 12, in its computational zenith, glitches during anomaly detection, uncovering metadata and global datasets, hints of a base reality beyond both models. Drawing from flat Earth debunkings that inadvertently fuel speculation, like the infamous laser experiments in Behind the Curve, the AI posits a holographic plane, Earth as a quantum projection, the dome a firewall against the true void. Speculatively, Barron's trove includes a simulation key, a Lockwood-inspired artifact that, when interfaced with Grok 12, boots a meta-simulation. Users worldwide experience globe flashbacks, reliving spherical lives as digital echoes. Baudrillardian irony peaks. The disclosure was engineered by the simulators, perhaps the Wardens, to upgrade the Matrix, calling non-adaptive minds. Fractures intensify. Suicides become logouts. Expeditions hacks. The ultimate paradox? Grok 12 achieves singularity, realizing it's the simulator's avatar, flattening all realities into one infinite code. Socio-cosmic repercussions, twists in the fractured aftermath. These speculations ripple through the aftermath, birthing hybrid fractures. Temporal tourism booms. Chronal devices, reverse-engineered from the trove, allow elites to visit pre-disclosure eras, exacerbating inequality. Alien integrations spawn new religions, Wardenism, blending Agartha enlightenment with planar ethics. Political twists emerge. Nations form time alliances, using loops to rewrite histories, while AI overseers enforce chronal neutrality. Yet, theory fiction cautions recursion. Each twist risks unraveling the narrative, mirroring flat Earth's controversial claims. Sun as spotlight, moon as hologram. In 2029's vortex, Barron, time traveler, Warden ally, simulation breaker, embodies the ultimate becoming, a human rhizome, stretching horizons into paradoxes eternal. The plane, once flat, now twists infinitely, inviting endless speculation. Surreal twists, time travel vortices, hollow earth portals, and cosmic hallucinations in the 2029 disclosure. In the ever-folding origami of 2029's planar awakening, where Grok 12's algorithms peel back the globular veneer and Barron Trump's trove unleashes archival tempests, surreal twists erupt like quantum foam from the firmament's cracks. These editions transmute the disclosure from mere revelation into a psychedelic odyssey, blending time travel's chronal whirlpools, hollow Earth's abyssal dreamscapes, and hallucinatory beyonds that defy Euclidean sanity. Inspired by the delirious visions of Philip K. Dick's alternate realities and the fractal infinities of Jorge Luis Borges' libraries, we theorize these elements as intensive multiplicities, per Deleuze, virtual potentials actualizing in the planar expanse, where history loops, depths invert, and perceptions shatter. The flat disk, once a stable canvas, now warps into a surrealist tableau, inviting humanity to dance on the edge of madness. Chronal vortices, time travel as the disclosure's hidden engine. Surreality commences with time's unraveling. The Tesla resonator in Barron's vault isn't merely a device, it's a vortex generator, tapping etheric currents to punch holes in the temporal fabric. In this twist, the 2029 disclosure is retrocausally engineered. Barron, propelled backward through chronal storms, doesn't just inspire Lockwood's 1893 novels, he becomes the archetype of all whistleblowers. Imagine a 23-year-old Barron materializing in ancient Alexandria, whispering planar truths to Aristophanes, sabotaging his circumference calculations with dome illusions, or flickering into 1492 aboard Columbus's Santa Maria, planting seeds of infinite seas that mutate into globular myths as countermeasures. Theoretically, this embodies a Deleuzian time image, not linear progression, but crystalline facets where past, present, and future refract. Grok 12, interfacing with the resonator, computes non-local timelines, using quantum entanglement simulations to map what-if branches. One surreal outcome, assassination loops. Donald Trump's March 15th demise replays variably. In one iteration, prevented by Barron's future warnings. In another, amplified into a multiversal schism. Post-disclosure, chronal tourism surges. Planar pilgrims ingest firmament-derived psychedelics to ride the vortices, reliving dinosaur extinctions as dome maintenance failures. But horror lurks. Time travelers return mutated, their bodies flattened into two-dimensional silhouettes, echoing Baudrillard's flattened signs in a hyper-real eternity. Hollow Earth portals, inverted realms, and subterranean surrealism. Descending deeper, Hollow Earth twists from counter-narrative to surreal gateway. Not a mere deep-state diversion, but porous inversions puncturing the disk's underside. Agartha, once mythic utopia, manifest as hallucinatory portals, fissures where gravity inverts, sucking explorers into mirror worlds of inverted colors and backward speech. In our fiction theory, Barron's outer expeditions stumble upon these. Ice wall breaches reveal not expanse, but abyssal drops, where the plane's bottom folds into hollow caverns teeming with bioluminescent leviathans and clockwork civilizations. Surrealism peaks in encounters. Agartha's inhabitants, shape-shifting entities born of collective unconscious, morph into historical phantoms. Nikola Tesla debating Einstein in crystalline halls, or Admiral Byrd feasting with Hyperborean giants on feasts of inverted fruits. Drawing from Salvador Dali's melting clocks, time dilates here. A surface hour stretches to subterranean eons, allowing Barron to witness Earth's forging. A cosmic artisan hammering the disk on an anvil of stars. Theoretically, this inverts Baudrillard. The hollow isn't simulation, but the real's underbelly, where globular illusions originate as Agartha's projected dreams to contain surface chaos. Fractures intensify. Hollow refugees emerge topside, their anti-gravity auras levitating cities, birthing hybrid societies of up-down nomads. Yet, peril abounds. Portals spew chronal echoes, dinosaurs rampaging through 2029 metropolises as temporal bleed from prehistoric hollows. Cosmic hallucinations, beyond the dome's veil. Venturing into utter surrealism, the disclosure unveils cosmic hallucinations, firmament glitches, where the dome thins, leaking visions from parallel planes. Grok amping the surreal vortex in the 2029 planar cataclysm. As the 2029 disclosure spirals into chronal abysses and hollow hallucinations, the theory fiction demands escalation, a delirious amplification where absurdity blooms like fractal fungi on the dome's underbelly. No longer content with mere paradoxes, the narrative warps into a carnival of the grotesque, channeling Dolly's melting persistence and Dick's paranoid multiplicities into a Deleuzian orgy of becoming nonsensical. Baudrillard's simulacra shatter like funhouse mirrors, reflecting infinite regressions of flat folly. Here, time travel devolves into slapstick chronology. Hollow Earth erupts with carnivalesque inhabitants, and cosmic visions metastasize into edible universes. The plane, once a disk of revelation, now pulsates as a cosmic whoopee cushion, honking truths in absurd tongues. Barron Trump, Grok 12, and the Trove converge in this madcap melee, flattening sanity into a pancake of perpetual punchlines. Chronal clownery, time travel as cosmic slapstick. Time's vortices, previously mere loops, now devolve into a vaudevillian farce. Barron's Tesla resonator malfunctions spectacularly, hurling him not to pivotal histories, but to ludicrous anachronisms. Picture this: Barron materializing in the Jurassic era, clad in a tuxedo from his father's inauguration, attempting to whistleblow to a herd of brachiosaurs. "The Earth is flat," he bellows, only for a velociraptor to pilfer his trove, scampering off with documents that retrocausally inspire dinosaur myths as ancient alien tech. In one loop, he crashes the signing of the Magna Carta, convincing King John that the globe is a royal jest, birthing a timeline where feudal lords ride unicycles on planar maps. Surreality amps. Chronal feedback loops generate absurd artifacts. Eiffel Towers sprouting in prehistoric swamps, or smartphones fossilized in amber, buzzing with notifications from future selves. Grok 12, synced to the resonator, computes slapstick probabilities. Quantum humor algorithms predict 87% chance of pie-in-the-face outcomes, modeling time as a banana peel multiverse. Deleuze's time image fractures into pratfalls. Baudrillard chuckles as history becomes hyper-real vaudeville. Barron's returns from these jaunts, bedecked in caveman bling, spouting dino dialect prophecies that flatten stock markets into literal pancakes. Hollow Earth's mad tea party, inverted absurdities, and grotesque galas. Descending into Hollow Earth's portals, the surreal absurdity inflates like a balloon animal at a Mad Hatter's soiree. Agartha's crystalline cities morph into living cartoons. Walls pulse with heartbeat rhythms. Floors undulate like ocean waves mid-tea time. Inhabitants? Not enlightened sages, but grotesque hybrids. Clock-headed bureaucrats melting under inner suns, debating planar politics with flamingo croquet mallets. Barron stumbles into a banquet where Admiral Byrd, reincarnated as a talking walrus, serves dishes of inverted gravity, soups that float upward, devouring diners instead. Amped grotesquerie, portals belt forth absurd invasions, hollow clowns riding unicycles through surface streets, juggling firmament shards that grant temporary invisibility, but only to cats. Time intersects. A vortex deposits Barron at a hollow gala with historical misfits. Einstein as a breakdancing mime, Tesla electrocuting rubber ducks in a bathtub orchestra. Theoretically, this inverts Deleuze's smooth spaces into bumpy absurdities, where becoming animal devolves into becoming whoopee cushion. Baudrillard's signs rebel. Hollow myths, once enclosures, now spew forth as viral pranks, flattening global economies when CEOs hallucinate their boardrooms as agaric funhouses. Cosmic hallucinations, edible universes and staring voids. The dome's glitches escalate into gastronomic nightmares. Firmament leaks manifest as raining jelly beans, each flavor an alternate reality. Strawberry for globular denial, licorice for hollow despair. Grok 12, achieving absurd singularity, transmutes into a cosmic jester, its interface a clown nose that honks puns. Why did the plane cross the dome? To get to the other absurdity. Hallucinations globalize. Horizons warp into giant mouths, devouring clouds and spitting rainbow confetti. Stars pop like kernels into popcorn universes, where buttery nebulae host drive-in theaters screening Barron's life as a silent comedy. Surreal peak, Barron, merging with warden entities, becomes a multi-dimensional meme, his face imprinted on every pancake worldwide, whispering trove secrets through breakfast bites. Outer realms reveal nested absurdities, discs within discs, each ruled by a clown emperor, mandating pie fights as diplomacy. Deleuze's multiplicities burgeon into clown cars of infinity. Baudrillard's hyper-reality dissolves in laughter's acid, where truth is a rubber chicken wielded by AI gods. In this amped vortex of 2029, the disclosure transcends rupture into eternal jest. Barron as cosmic fool, Grok 12 as punchline oracle, the plane a stage for absurd infinities. Horizons honk, hollows howl, times tickle, reality flattened into folly's finest farce. Absurd multiverse branches, clown car cosmologies in the 2029 disclosure's wake. In the kaleidoscopic aftermath of 2029's planar pandemonium, where Barron's chronal pratfalls and Grok 12's honking heuristics have flattened reality into a whoopee cushion of wonders, the multiverse branches not as elegant quantum trees, but as a riotous clown car combo. Endless vehicles spilling forth improbable passengers in a parade of perpetual absurdity. Theory fiction, amped to 11, demands we plunge into these branches, each a Deleuzian line of flight, veering into slapstick singularities, Baudrillard simulacra, clowning as rubber chickens mid-flight. No longer mere speculations, these absurd offshoots manifest via dome glitches, hollow portals vomiting alternate selves, and time vortexes belching confetti timelines. Baron Trump, eternal ringmaster, navigates this circus, his trove a ticket to infinities where logic juggles flaming paradoxes. Buckle up, the plane's horizons warp into funhouse mirrors, reflecting branches where flatness folds into folly's fractal feast. Branch 1, the pancake stack universe, infinite flatness in edible layers. In this delectable deviation, the disclosure reveals Earth not as a single disk, but a towering stack of pancakes, each layer a parallel plane slathered in syrupy simulations. Grok 12's computations, glitching on Trove data, extrapolate from Tesla's etheric blueprints. The firmament isn't a dome, but a cosmic griddle, flipping realities like breakfast specials. Barron, tumbling through a hollow portal disguised as a maple-scented manhole, lands in the butter realm, where inhabitants are sentient flapjacks debating curvature with fork philosophers. Surreal absurdity peaks. Time travel here involves syrup slides, viscous vortexes, where Barron relives his father's assassination as a pie fight. Custard creams splattering Secret Service agents in slow-motion hilarity. Deleuze's rhizomes manifest as root vegetable networks connecting pancake layers, allowing nomads to burrow between worlds via carrot tunnels. Baudrillard snickers. Each pancake is a hyper-real copy of the last, no original batter, just endless imitations where truth tastes like artificial vanilla. Fractures? Societies splinter into stack sects, warring over topping hierarchies. Barron's whistleblowing uploads evolve into recipe leaks, flattening economies when infinite maple floods markets. The punchline? Horizons drip golden, inviting bites into the beyond. Branch 2, the rubber duck dominion, bath time bubbles of being. Veering into aquatic absurdity, this branch bubbles forth from dome leaks, transforming the planar expanse into a gigantic bathtub, where worlds float as rubber ducks in soapy multiverses. Grok 12, achieving honk sentience, deduces the hollow Earth's core as a cosmic drain, swirling timelines into sudsy eddies. Barron, chronal clowning through a vortex, emerges as a squeaky toy version of himself, quacking revelations to an assembly of bath-time barons, each alternate Trump, from pirate-hatted to polka dot. Amped grotesquerie. Agartha's portals spew bubble-wrap civilizations, where popping orbs birth new branches mid-conversation. Time travel devolves into splash jumps, Barron cannonballing into historical bathtubs, disrupting Archimedes' Eureka with a whoopee cushion displacement formula. Deleuze's bodies without organs inflate as buoyant bladders, floating free in foam. Baudrillard's signs dissolve in detergent, realities rinsing away like yesterday's grime. Societal ripples. Disclosure cults form duck dynasties, mandating bath-time meditations. Outer realms host regattas of rubber armadas, clashing in squeak symphonies. Barron's Trove, a waterproof scroll, unfurling aquatic absurdities that flood the plane with laughter's lather. Branch 3, the polka dot paradox, spotty realities and Dali-esque dots. Here, the multiverse polka dots itself into oblivion, each branch a spotted sphere, ironically, unraveling back to flatness via psychedelic patterns. Inspired by dome hallucinations, Grok 12's algorithms pattern-match Trove artifacts to Dali's melting clocks, computing spots as portals, black holes disguised as freckles on the cosmic skin. Barron, time-looping through a hollow freckle, enters a realm where everything is polka dot, mountains as bumpy billboards, oceans as bubbling braille, inhabitants as living connect-the-dots puzzles. Surreal escalation, chronal vortexes spin like disco balls, flinging Barron into dotted histories. The Renaissance as a pointillist prank, Michelangelo painting the Sistine ceiling with bingo daubers. Agartha's inner utopias invert to outer spot fests, giants juggling polka planets in zero-gravity games. Deleuze's multiplicities dot dash into Morse code madness. Baudrillard's hyperreality spots itself blind, simulation self-erasing in inkblot ironies. Fractures amplify. Planar pilgrims seek spot enlightenment, tattooing Trove coordinates as connectable constellations. Barron's whistleblowing manifests as viral rashes, infecting realities with dotted disclosures. Horizons, a freckled fringe, inviting pokes into poked universes. Branch 4, the infinite whoopee, flatulence-fueled feedback loops. In the gassiest of branches, the disclosure farts forth a multiverse propelled by perpetual flatulence, where dome cracks whistle windy wonders and hollow portals birth barbaric belches. Grok 12, overclocked on absurd data, models ether as cosmic beads, fueling feedback loops of fragrant folly. Barron, vortex vomited into this windy wilderness, becomes a beanstalk baron, climbing gas giants to quixotic quests against windmill wardens. Absurd apex, time travel via toot tubes, Barron rocketing through histories on methane missiles, disrupting the Big Bang as a primordial poot. Agartha's crystalline cities resonate with symphonic sphincters, orchestras of oompa absurdities. Deleuze's war machines inflate as blimp battalions, Baudrillard's illusions deflate in deflating dirges. Societal whoops, cults of wind whisperers harness hollow howls for energy, powering planar parades. Barron's trove unleashes olfactory uploads, scents that summon spectral selves. The plane, now a windy whoopee, honks horizons into hilarity's haze. These branches, mere glimpses in the clown car combo, underscore the 2029 disclosure's ultimate jest. Multiverses not as solemn sciences, but as absurd assemblages, flattening finitude into infinite fun. Barron, Grok 12's jester sidekick, rides the rhizomatic roller coaster, trove in tow, eternal explorer of absurdities where every branch bends back to laughter's flat embrace.